Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to watch. I've got an update for you guys on your big week ahead with all your major storm systems and your bitterly cold that has been surging into the mid-Atlantic and southern New England. So we have a decently long update for you guys tonight. I know you guys are probably watching this by the morning hours of Saturday. But I'm actually filming this kind of late Friday night. So I am giving you guys a little late update on your latest GFS model and then what has been happening in the last few hours. We have a monster Arctic front that's just going to be pushing through, and it's going to be moving very fast. So it's kind of similar to the one with Winter Storm Elliott. If any of you remember that one, this one kind of swept through the Ohio Valley and then the interior parts of the Northeast, bringing some snow and rain to upstate New York. But that was pretty much the gist of it. So we have a similar one because that one actually, on the backside of this, you had a lot of cold air that came through, and you had also a very strong, I guess, cold front with a lot of damaging winds that were scattered along Long Island and Mid-Atlantic. So it's similar to this one. This one is a bit more colder. Not only do you have that wind chill, but you have those temperatures that are going to get down into the single digits, getting into midnight tonight. So it's going to be very, very cold tonight across Long Island, New Jersey, Connecticut, Boston area, all these major cities. So we have a lot to talk about, considering that this is, we don't even have any storm system that's going to be impacting any time soon, meaning in the next few hours. But, we're going to be taking a look at basically the Northeast at the most. So we're going to start with your alerts. You can see it's pretty calm in the whole entire U.S. other than the Northeast. So down here you have some scattered flood warnings. This goes for the Southeast. So this is really just on rivers overflowing their banks and just just scattered flooding that's possible. But we don't have much going on here for the rest of the country other than the Northeast. So the Northeast, you can see that you have this shade of dark bluish gray. Now this is your wind chill warning. So this is a very large area. You have most of Maine in this wind chill warning. You have all of New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island. Every single part of the state is in that wind chill warning, and then most of New York State is also in this. I really do think that this should expand by tonight into regions of northeastern and northern Pennsylvania. Soon we'll be getting into pretty much the whole northern half of New Jersey, and then all of Long Island should be in this too. So you have this special weather statement for Long Island only. This is actually this is specifically made for Long Island because there is going to be a tiny pocket of some strong winds and a very strong Arctic blast that is going to move through. So that goes out for Long Island just to make sure that everyone is okay with this. Well, meaning that everyone kind of knows what is to expect from this storm. So this is indicating that you have your special weather statement up. And then you have this blizzard warning that goes out for the very northern tip of Maine. We're going to be taking a look at if there's any possible answer to why they have posted this. I really don't know, as far as I've seen today, why the National Weather Service has issued this, but you never want to ignore what the National Weather Service is saying. So I just want you guys to keep in mind that this is a blizzard warning that does go out for northern Maine. So that's pretty much it for your alerts. And we're going to the northeast. So this is 8 a.m. today. We're at actually 9, just after 9 o'clock. So we're going to put this to 9 p.m. And this is actually pretty interesting. You have a very large system. This is actually the end of your old system that is moving out of the northeast. But look at these lines of just, extreme snowfall. And then this also can mean sometimes that you have some very strong snow squalls. And this is out on the water. So when you see it set up like this, where you have all this cold air that's been moving across the water, that means you have a lot of deep, deep cold air inland. But then, once you go a little bit further west than this area, meaning that you would be talking about the northeast in this scenario, then you would have a lot more warmer temperatures farther south or farther west. So you're talking like East Ohio Valley West Ohio Valley or farther west, and then farther south of like Virginia is pretty much what you're talking about for that warmer air. So your cold air is really just in this area right now. But you can see that right now the blizzard warning just doesn't really make sense because you don't have any snowfall that moves into Maine, not even northern Maine. And here at hour 43, you have a little system brewing here that could bring some of North Vermont, North New Hampshire, and northern upstate for New York State. That could bring some snow. And then you get northern Maine finally getting some snow, but it's really not much. And the whole northeast is pretty much dry. So that moves through and still gives Maine only like, an inch or two of snow possible. And that moves out, but you still get some leftover snow showers and rain showers. So it's going to be relatively dry, but just please watch out for this gusty winds. I'm actually going to leave most of that to actually this upcoming, or their next part of the update, which will be your wind gusts and your temperatures. So we're going to break this down. We're going to start at 2 o'clock today. So we'll focus right kind of in this area. So probably we'll talk about early afternoon. You have wind gusts that have been gusting 240 miles an hour pretty much all across New England and the mid-Atlantic. So look at these offshore winds. You have wind gusts howling up to 62 miles an hour. So this is almost hurricane force wind gusts off the coast of Massachusetts. So you're going into the coast of Massachusetts. You have 56, the Cape Cod area. But you can see it's just blustery out there. And then you see off the coast of Long Island, you're having wind gusts up to 50 to 55 miles an hour. South of Long Island, you're getting wind gusts slightly a little bit farther over 50 miles an hour, meaning that this would be, a little bit closer to 55 miles an hour. We're going to put this now to 4. Well, actually, we'll go to 5. Why not? And you can see it doesn't really change. I don't know if this doesn't really change. You do have a bit more stronger winds that will come through. You have these pockets. This purple shows wind gusts in the higher 40s, but you can see it's, for the most part, it's just windy everywhere in the northeast. I mean, you're going to New Hampshire and Maine, Vermont, and you're not really seeing any difference. Although if you do go a little further west and you go farther inland, you don't have as much wind because you actually have a little bit further. Like this one is a little bit like more coastal, meaning that the stronger winds are going to be along the coast, and the weaker winds are going to be in the interior parts of the region. But that definitely does not mean it's not going to be windy. You still have Lake Erie gusting past definitely past 45 miles an hour. So, just, sorry, Lake Erie actually still would be gusting past 45 miles an hour, but, you know, it's the Great Lakes that are just going to be really windy with this one, too. Sorry, I did not realize I was not looking at Lake Erie on this one, so if you mind that mistake, please don't mind that mistake. Here comes another pocket of some pretty pretty strong winds. We're gonna move this now let's move this to 8 p.m. So this would be an hour ago. And then you see you got a little bit even stronger winds. So now you're getting, this is New York City gusting to 35 miles an hour. Long Island gusting past 45. So this would go for most of eastern Long Island. And then even northwestern Long Island gusting to 40 miles an hour. So that would be as of 8. And then we're going to put this to the middle of the night. So we're going to skip ahead to 12. You could see that another round of very gusty winds moves through. And you're getting winds gusting well past 40 miles an hour. You're getting scattered gusts that could occasionally reach the 50 mark. As this goes for western Massachusetts. So there could be another round of some very strong winds, meaning that you could have localized power outages because you not only have that, but you have the deep freeze with the frigid cold. So it causes this, big tension in those objects that, are outdoors. So this is actually the Euro. But I just want to show you that the GFS is pretty different. So I definitely want to include this too. So the GFS shows a lot more wind farther north. Sorry, I hit that. But look, I mean, you see, this is Long Island and New York City. Look at New York City for a second. This is still 34 miles an hour. You don't even get winds past 40 miles, wind gusts past 40 miles an hour. According to the GFS, this is not what's expected. This is just what the GFS is saying. But, it's just not stopping, really. And then you get, and finally, another very strong, this is your, main band of extreme wind gusts. Now you can see that we'll move this to New York State. You have got wind gusts occasionally gusting past 50 miles an hour for pretty much the whole kind of section of the region. But Long Island is pretty much the same for those wind gusts. You have winds gusting past 45 miles an hour in some areas, and then occasional gusts up past 50 miles an hour. So we'll go to Saturday. We'll put this to 4 a.m. and you can see that by 4 a.m. you're pretty much done with this wind. You will have another secondary wind event on the backside of this that could bring gusts up to 35 miles an hour, but this really won't be as big of a deal as it is now. So you should be done with your gusty winds by late night tomorrow, or if you're seeing this video on Saturday morning, then late tonight. So that's pretty much it for those winds. And then we're gonna go to the temperature, and we have something to break down. So this was the middle of the night this morning. You have temperatures at 22. Let's put this to now. And then let's put this to now. Let me just get this to load. Sorry, guys. It's being really slow. My internet's down because there's a few, there's a few power outages that have been kind of moving. They're not moving, but kind of happening around us where I live. So it's a little slow of it, but that's pretty much it. Let me keep trying to get this to move. Okay, I think we got it now. Alright, so whatever. So you have 22 degrees. Now this is according to the GFS. It's very slow. It's actually not 22, so scratch that. You're actually at around, like 10 degrees. And this goes for pretty much all of Long Island, New Jersey, and upstate New York. So this whole area is going to be in the teens and into the single digits tonight into early tomorrow morning. But the real feel is what's going to get very, very low. So now we don't have a real feel map on here, but I will kind of click around here to show you the temperatures, and I will tell you what the wind chill will be for these areas. So this is 1 a.m. So this is middle of the night. So this is negative 14 degrees. Your wind chill for looks like Cobleskill, New York. Your wind chill in the middle of the night should be around negative 30. So it's going to be extremely cold for you guys out there. We're gonna put this a little bit farther south. So we're gonna go into the border between New York and northern New Jersey. So let's see what city this would be. This would be south of Newburgh, I think, and south of Poughkeepsie. This would be your wind chill getting as low as, I would say, negative 20. So for like this whole area, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna kind of circle my mouse around here. This whole area is going to be looking for wind chills as low as negative 20. But I think any farther north than like northern Long Island or the Long Island Sound, that kind of area, I would say is where you could see the wind chills getting even lower than negative 20, then negative 25, and obviously so on and so forth. But it's going to be very cold, dangerously cold. Please dress warmly. As I keep moving this around and you don't stop seeing these temperatures move out of the below zero range, so watch out for this extreme cold. I'm going to put this in the morning, so this would be a little bit later in the morning on Saturday, and you could see that it's very cold, still very cold. You have 7 degrees here, northern Long Island. You have 7 degrees, around 7 degrees. So Saturday morning, if you have to get up for some reason a little on the early side, you're probably going to be seeing wind chills around negative 10 to 15 degrees for this area south of New York State. So it's going to be very, very cold. That's what I'll tell you guys, and I just want you to keep following along with this update because I just want you to get all this latest information in because it is very important for not only your safety, but just for your well-being because we're going to have some major storms impacting later. So, big, big deal. So, we have our last part of the update, which is going to be the latest GFS model for what is ahead, and we're going to kind of break down each system. So we'll get started with your latest storm, which moved out already. This is old news. But here comes your Arctic blast. This is already down into now South Carolina. Excuse me, so you have some very, very cold air that has been reaching into the southeast. And that moves out with that high pressure. So after the system, usually after you have a Arctic blast move through, after that you're probably that means you usually have some above normal or above average temperatures. So when you see this storm come through, that will come kind of shooting up through the northeast, or I guess you could say now east coast. This one looking like it's going to be a little bit more rain because you're pretty much done with that Arctic blast, which has been very strong. My lights just flickered, actually. I'm in the basement right now. The lights just flickered. But here comes another system. And this moves through. You see, you still got there plenty of warm air built into the northeast. This one's stretching into Vermont and New Hampshire. So, very unusual for this time of year, considering that, it's February and it's, getting into the 50s in the northeast. So it's very interesting to see, how high these temperatures are going to get. But this is obviously later. So your dip in the jet stream has now moved well farther west. So this is moving into like the Texas area. So, that kind of area. So there comes your system after your rainstorm that would move through. This one looking like yet another pretty good rainstorm for you guys along the East Coast. This will be around the 10th. That moves out. You get a pretty good winter storm behind this. That's pretty strong. This comes through, giving New York City possibly some snow showers. But, this is kind of far out, so we don't have the exact forecast for that system. But, you get another, this one looking like your major system of, like, the month. So, around the 14th is where you're going to see a very, very strong system start. And now, your low pressure actually isn't even really located anywhere. So, the low pressure is going to form very late. So, what we have to decide is if we're going to now, if we had to make the decision now, if we're going to say, we're going to really just focus on this area because your low pressure hasn't formed, so you're going to have weaker conditions out here than out here. Or we could say, we could stick with what the geophysicist is saying now and say it's just going to be a full-on major snowstorm for pretty much everyone. So we're going to break this down, and you can see it's starting out like a major snowstorm for Illinois, Missouri, Oklahoma, Kansas, and soon to be Tennessee. After we keep going through this model run, some very strong possible thunderstorms, but mostly rainstorms that are going to be moving through the southeast, and then you get some freezing rain that's going to be showing up too. So it looks like it could be a pretty good ice storm for many areas, and then you get another round of some very heavy rain that's going to move through the southeast. You get more heavy snow that moves through Indianapolis, Illinois, and Michigan. But it's looking like it's going to stay all snow for Michigan. And then Ohio and the Ohio Valley looking like a nasty winter storm with all the elements of winter in that storm as well. Then this moves into the northeast looking like yet another major ice storm. This one looking like a lot of major ice accumulations within this storm. You could see that New York City, Long Island, you're getting some thunderstorms that could approach. This is so far out that I'm not even going to say really thunderstorms anymore because this is all the way out to the 16th. But I've been checking, pretty much all day, just keeping an eye on the latest, I guess you could say changes or updates on the GFS model for this system, and it's been changing all day. So I do not want to say thunderstorms because we're not there yet, and we're definitely going to have a lot more changes to come. So that moves out of the northeast very slowly. Changes to some snow on the backside of this, and you can see New York City getting maybe, I'll say now, if I had to take a wild guess, I would say, maybe up to an inch of snow. But that moves out. and then you get another system that kind of moves through, giving the Northeast a little bit of snow showery weather. But we're going to leave this last storm to the next update, which will be tomorrow. So we will have a fresh information by tomorrow morning. So just watch out for these storms. I know I keep saying this a lot, but we're going to be really taking a lot better look at each system as it comes through. So as we progress towards each system, we'll be getting a little bit farther into what is going to be impacting from each system. We're going to look at your snow totals very briefly. This is going to be probably like a 50-second section of the video, but excuse me, I just want to show you the snowfall that is projected to fall into 384 hours. So as of now, right now it's saying we'll focus on the Northeast for now. You're saying New York City looking like you're gonna get up to 9 inches of snow out. So from here to a little under 400 hours out, you could have up to 10 inches of snow in New York City. New York State looks like it's going to be up to maybe even 3 feet of snow. So it looks like all these systems definitely have the potential for dropping large amounts of snowfall. And then this off to the west we can discuss in a future update. This is, I don't know why, but you have a extreme band of snowfall that's going to be moving through the mountain regions of California. You're showing like 5 feet to 6 feet to 7 feet of snow. It's just wild. I mean, this 107 inches of snow out 384 hours. So, that's just a lot of wild weather out there that we don't have to talk about now. So, that's going to finish the update. But if you haven't already, like, share, comment, subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. But I hope you guys found this update very helpful and informal. So, I'll be giving you guys the latest on what's going to be happening as of now in the next few hours, and then in the next few days, and gradually into the next few weeks. So, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. See you guys.